Hey guys, what's growing? It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. Short video for you today because I'm out in the greenhouse. It is inside the greenhouse, 118 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little hot. But what I must do is set up some worm compost for fertilizing early tomorrow morning. It's going to be hot again tomorrow, but I want to be able to get out there because a lot of my veggies really need it. I need to do this process out at the farm as well, but can't do both in one day, mostly because I don't have the time to get there early enough. I want all this good nutrition to soak into the leaves well before it gets super hot. So I'm going to do it very early in the morning when it's still very shady in the garden. The things that we need for making this fertilizer for the garden are just a few things. So what I've got here is a 1 gallon jar of rainwater. Now this is from my rain barrel, starting to get low because, you know, starting to run out and we won't get any more rain until probably October, November. Then the other thing I have here is the actual worm compost. I've got this in a little tray. I just harvested it out of my worm bins. They're doing great. I was worried about them because they don't like it cold, but they also don't like it super hot. So this is vermicast, worm poop. So in my worm bins, I put, you know, food stuff that were, you know, like old lettuce, rotting strawberries, things like that. Anyway, the worms turn it into vermicompost. And this is super nutrient rich. It also has a lot of active biology in it. So this in with the water will then get diluted in my backpack sprayer and become the fertilizer for the garden. So what I'm gonna do is put this in a piece of, this is like a thick woven cheesecloth. And I usually use about a handful. This is a little bit more than that. And super simple, just make it into a little bag. This cheesecloth is wet because I cleaned out the last batch. All right. There we go. There's our little bag of vermicompost. Now I'm going to take the water here, put the bag inside, and I'm going to use my hand to squeeze. You can see some of that stuff coming out. That's actually vermicast. All right, so now the water is fully incorporated into that bag. It's going to sink a little bit, and now what we're going to do is give it food. So if you've got active biology in here, you want to feed it while it's going through this process, forming compost tea for you. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of molasses in there. And then, oh, that smells good. I like the smell of molasses. And then we just need to set it up on a bubbler. So let me show you that. Oh, before that, the reason I use rainwater is it doesn't have any chemicals to kill bacteria or any other kind of biology in it, like your tap water would. So make sure if you're going to use your tap water for this, that you find out how your city treats your water. If they use chlorine, then you can leave the water out for 24 hours. It will off-gas that chlorine. If they treat it with chloramine, which is what it is here in most places in California, that won't off-gas. So you actually have to use either distilled water, filtered water that will filter out the chloramine, or you can buy those tablets they use for fish tanks to filter that stuff out. So those are your options there. All right, so let's set this up on the bubbler. Okay, this right here is just a little $5 fish bubbler for like a 10-gallon tank. I just set this up, I plug it in, and then down here is the bubbling stone that goes in, and it keeps this whole concoction aerating for about 24 hours. In this case, it's gonna be a little bit less than that because I'm gonna do this early in the morning, but it helps keep things moving, aeration in there so you don't go anaerobic. All the active biology in here will start eating that molasses, and then tomorrow we will pour this in the backpack sprayer with 3 gallons of regular fresh water, again filtered, something without chloramine or chlorine in it, because you don't want to kill the biology, you just kept it alive all night, and then it will go onto the garden. So that's all there is to it. I know that that was a short video for today, but it's really hot. I'm hoping tomorrow morning when it's cooler, after I spray everything down with fertilizer, I can do the container switch out that I told you guys about. I have some really fun stuff to put in these containers to go from spring to summer. And maybe we'll also be planting up some basil. I have an old planter that has basil in it that I started from seed, but because the temperatures have been so weird and mostly cold until now, and not enough sun, they just kind of have stalled and withered. So I bought some much bigger basil plants because I want basil now. We're starting to get, our tomatoes are going to start coming in. I want to have basil to go with those. So we'll be potting those up as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful time in your garden. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the coming holiday weekend. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.